the going gets tough, shine your light. Just have faith, it'll be alright. Shine your light. When you're feeling blue, shine your light. Spirit's guiding you. Shine your light. Just hold on, love will pull you through. So just shine your light. Shine your light.
Everybody,
Shine your light. Everything's gonna be alright. Shine your light. When your world seems dark, shine your light. Love ignites a spark. Shine your light. Everything's gonna be alright. Shine your light.
everybody now.
Shine your light. Shine your light. Are you ready to feel free? Yes. I am too. Let's get to work. Let's take a deep breath in. Bring the lights down. Exhale. One more time. Deep breath in. Hold it for a couple seconds. And then exhale by saying, Yep, we're going to move into that place right now, that place of spiritual freedom. That place in our minds where everything else comes to a complete stop and there's just you and spirit and pure potential right there in that moment. There's an openness, there's a readiness. There's a receptivity on your part. We're not going to change your life or the world, but the consciousness that created the issues in your life and in the world. It's going to require us to go to a different space now. And that's what we do in this silence. That's what we do in this meditation, as we jump into that opportunity. Get ready, my soul. I'm diving in. Get ready, my soul. I'm diving in to the deepest kind of love, to the sweetest kind of life. Get ready, my soul. Everything I've ever done and everything I've ever seen, everything I've lost or won, and everything I've ever dreamed has brought me here to this special moment here, to a new beginning here, and I'm seeing life so clearly now. Please join me. Get ready, my soul. I'm diving in. Get ready, my soul. I'm diving in to the deepest kind of love, to the sweetest kind of life. Get ready, my soul. Get ready, my soul.
There is a power in the universe, an undisputed source of all that is. And I am one with that source. It is my source of love. It is my source of harmony, peace, and joy. It is how I live my life. So I state here and now, I claim my truth. I am the rock of Gibraltar. I am unwavering in my faith. My God is bigger than anything. It is the truth of who I am. Though waves of fear may be abound, I am steadfast in my faith. And what is true for me is true for all. I claim the truth for all, that we are all one. We have love in our hearts. We have compassion, respect, and understanding for all those around us. I know that love conquers all. And through this love, a feeling of harmony is within me. I know I can confidently go about my day, knowing that I walk with God. With that truth, I can now hold my head up high, knowing that anything unlike its kind just simply falls away. I am filled with such joy, such gratitude of the knowledge I have, the love I have. This feeling within inside me overflows. For I know humanity is one. So with love in my heart, I joyously release my word to the law of mind, knowing it is done now. And together we say, and so it is. Amen.
In the silence there is peace. In the silence there is unspoken joy. In the silence there's release from a world full of chaos and noise. So I wake in this holy silence. I hear all that has ever been said, and right here in this
silence there is unspoken joy. In the silence there's release from a world full of chaos and noise. So we awake in this holy silence. We hear all that needs to be said, and right here in this holy silence we find God, we find ourselves. And I find God, I find myself. And you find God, you find I send my love over the mountains. I send my love over the sea. I send my love into the heavens, and it returns to me. Sending out joy, singing out. I send my joy over the mountains. I send my joy over the sea. I send my joy into the heavens, and it returns to me. Sending out peace. I send my peace over the mountains. I send my peace over the sea. I send my peace into the heavens, and it returns to me. Sending out love, singing out. I send my love over the mountains. I send my love over the sea. I send my love into the heavens, and it returns to me. And it returns to me. And it returns to me.
To the 90s, when I was hearing your voice just echo through this sanctuary for so many years, and it was just so beautiful. And you know what? I want to acknowledge William, because you know what? That was William. Amen. Good job, William. He did a great prayer today. I'm acknowledging him because that's his second time up there only. And I mean, you're doing everything, dude. She's got you changing the transmission in cars and setting up chairs, praying. I know, well, and I got to watch out for my job, man. I'm getting nervous. All right, so we've been talking about our world theme, building a world that works for everybody. The monthly theme is wholeness. Today's theme is we believe that heaven is within us and that we can experience it to the degree that we become conscious of it. Let me say that again. We believe that heaven is within us and that we experience it to the degree that we become conscious of it. Last week, my talk title was, Can We Return to Wholeness? And this week, it's called The Highest Good for All. Yay. If you haven't noticed, there was an election this week. Finally. Finally. And so I want to share a couple things with you. Hopefully, this will be the last time we have to talk about this. But I want to share with you the story of Nehemiah. Do people know the story of Nehemiah? Because if not, I want to share something with you that kind of like is the basis of my talk today. The story of Nehemiah is a beautiful example of steadfast courage, which allowed him and his men to rebuild the city of Jerusalem, for the people had a mind to work. Quote, for the people had a mind to work. You are my people, you are our people, and you have a mind to work. Are you ready to accept that premise? That you have a mind to work. As enemies repeatedly approached Nehemiah and his workforce, entreating him to join them for a talk, he refused to leave his position atop the city wall, stating, quote, I am doing a great work so that I cannot come down. I am doing a great work so I cannot come down. What a remarkable response. With that clear and unchanging purpose of heart and mind, with that great resolve, we read that he and his men were able to rebuild the city in an astonishing 52 days. The application of the story is clear. We truly are the ones that we've been waiting for. As we have faith in the infinite love that heals, divides, dissolves animosity, and builds true community, we know how to keep our instruments, our mind, our heart, and body perfectly tuned to the universal wisdom that is guiding us to solutions we may not other yet have imagined, and infinite possibilities of which we haven't even dreamed. That is the story of Nehemiah, and here is your affirmation for the week. Together, please. I am doing great work and cannot come down. I stand on the holy ground of love and its infinite possibilities. Let's say that again. I am doing great work and cannot come down. I stand on the holy ground of love and its infinite possibilities. Are you ready to make that your affirmation for the week? You know what that means, though? It means there has to be a commitment that you don't get down into a conversation that is leading us to discord. You can't come, don't roll your eyes. My husband is rolling his eyes at me. Don't you roll your eyes at me. There's a slide in there for you, Homer, and it's coming up. I'm a human being, so he gets to see all that. And then he looks at me and like he just nudged Renee over here going, please. Please. I'm a human being, and so are you. And we have to make sure that we acknowledge the fact that we don't want to get down to have that conversation. I'm doing great work. I don't have time to get down into that conversation. I don't have time to come down. I'm too busy doing what I need to do and want to do to help and propel my life in the right direction. I don't have time to come down. Now, this you could refer to in the election phase. You could refer it to anything you want. You can refer it to your health. I'm too busy with my relationships and building healthy relationships to come down into the gutter and talk to you. I'm too busy building health and building my own financial security to come down to that negativity. I'm too busy doing the work to create my world to come down and have that conversation. And I stand on the holy ground. This holy ground has always been here, and the love and its infinite possibilities exist now as they did last week, as they will in the future, as they will forever and ever. Amen. We are standing on the holiest of ground created by the infinite that says, please use this holy ground for your greater good. And part of this is the process. To desert the truth in the hour of need is to prove that I do not know the truth. Let's say that together. To desert the truth in the hour of need is to prove that I do not know the truth. Whoa. I bet there's been a lot of desertion lately. There's been a lot of conversation everywhere, all around us. There's a vibration, there's an energy, and we're going to have to derail that energy by knowing the truth. By knowing the truth and sticking with it in our hour of need. To desert the truth at the 11th hour is to say, I don't know the truth. I can study it. I can talk about it. I can certainly pontificate it, but I certainly am not using it if I abandon it in that hour of need. Now, whether that is about the world condition or whether that's about your own life, your own personal life, a medical condition or a relationship or your financial condition, whatever that is, to abandon the truth in that at that hour is to know that you didn't really know the truth after all. You haven't embodied it. You may know it up here, but you haven't embodied it in here. You may know it up here. It may be really good. You may be able to recite Bible and verse. You may be able to say everything that you need to recite. But if it hasn't been embodied, then all it is you're just repeating something that's not yet in the heart. Regardless of political views, whether celebrating or weeping, the work at hand involves a willingness to be part of the healing and allow a greater good to emerge in our nation. It matters not. There's no side anymore. The election is over. Thank God. The election is over, but now the work begins. Now the work begins to bring a sense of greatness back into our nation, a sense of unity back into our nation. And it's going to require us, whether you're weeping or whether you're celebrating, everyone has a hand in creating a sense of unity to bring things together as one. We all have a responsibility. It's not falling on the shoulders of any particular party or any particular person. It falls on our consciousness. I have news for you. The 2 days before the election, I'll be really honest. 2 days before the election, I sat there thinking, this all had to happen. Have you ever been in a relationship where you push down your feelings and then one day you just explode all over the person? Anybody? You suppress it, you try to pretend that it's all okay, you pretend that it's okay, you pretend that you've been okay, and one day you just blow up. What do you think just happened here? Things for so long have been I always say, put things on the table. Lay them out on the table so I can see them, we can talk about them, we can deal with them. And for some people that's uncomfortable because if you lay it on the table, you can't put it back because everybody knows what's out there now. But if everything's hidden underneath the table and people really don't know what's happening, you don't really get to see the possibilities that can come from that. So this whole thing had to happen. I've had I'm sure you've all had some really disturbing things that happened in your world. And they showed up in a way that seemed harmful and hurtful, or there was discord, there was imbalance, there was animosity, there was all that energy. We've all had those things. But those were actually guideposts to actually bring us to our good. We just didn't recognize them because we were in the middle of them. Does that make sense? Yes. We didn't recognize them as good unfolding because we weren't at the good yet. We were on the pathway to good, and because it didn't look like we thought it should look, then we called it bad, and that seemed to be bad all the time. Anybody? Yes. So this is the same premise. This is the same premise. We don't know. None of us knows anything. We feel like we're projecting into it. We're futurizing our problems. Think about it. How many times have you done that in your life? Spend all night going, oh my God, what if this happens, and what if that happens, and what if that happens, and what if this happens? And how many of them really came to pass? How many of the things that kept you up all night long really came to pass in the degree that you thought they would come to pass, and the magnitude that you thought they would come to pass? I bet a lot of you would say, didn't even appear, not even close. Thank you, God, not even close. Your imagination ran wild with it. Science of Mind, page 220, 283, whatever that is. Stay with the one and never deviate from it. Never leave it for a moment. Nothing else can equal this attitude. When things look the worst, that is the supreme moment to demonstrate to ourselves that there are no obstructions to the operation of truth. Stay with the one, God, Spirit, whatever you want to call it. Stay with the one and don't deviate from it. I can't come down, I'm too busy doing my good. I can't come down because that's staying with the one. You know, I can't come down, and I like that reference, I can't come down. Why? Because I'm at a higher level of consciousness. I'm at a higher vibration. I see things differently from this vantage point than I do if I come down and try to discuss it with you. Does that make sense? If I go into the ditch to have the discussion, how am I I'm part of the problem. So my job is to stay on the highest ground that I can. And know that all of these obstructions are actually an operation of truth unfolding. We just don't see it yet. Let's walk through them together. Say this, please. Say it with me. I am doing great work and cannot come down. I stand on the holy ground of love and its infinite possibilities. Even bald guys have a bad hair day from time to time. That's for you, Homer. Because I have bad days from time to time. Not for you, that's for you, because I figured that was my slide to represent the fact that sometimes I have bad days. I may not be bald, but not yet. I have bad days. And I don't want anybody to metaphysically guilt me into feeling bad for being human. My human beingness shows up at times, and sometimes it's not pretty. And it certainly has showed up a heck of a lot this week. In many different ways that I am not proud of. In many ways that I look back on and I'm thinking, what were you thinking? How could you call? But you know what? Yesterday ended last night. I don't have to do it again. So don't metaphysically flog yourself if you fall off the wagon. It does no good for you to feel shame or guilt that you weren't able to sustain being up there on the top. You'll get back up there. Acknowledge it and just say, wow, okay, done with that. Move on. When things look the worst is the best time to work. It's the most satisfying time. When things look the most challenging, it's not the time to retract and fall back. When things look the worst is the time that we lean in and do and expand. The natural reaction would be to go, I don't care what, health condition, financial, this is not just about an election, this is about the natural reaction to adversity is to go, when in essence we should be going, oh. This isn't about just that thing, this is that thing that happened. This is about your life. You can't contract your way into expansion and good. Does that make sense? Am I yelling? Sorry. Making sure all my hard of hearing people can hear me loudly. The person who can throw himself with complete abandon into the limitless sea of receptivity, having cut loose from all the apparent moorings, is the one who will always receive the greatest reward. The one who can cut themselves off and remove the ties that are binding them to that consciousness are the ones that will, I don't like the word reward, so I had William rework it. The one who will receive the greatest and natural effect. There are no rewards. There's a universe of cause and effect. The one who can release themselves from the bondage of their thoughts that have held them there and continue to hold them there, then they will be the ones who will have an effect that will be aligned with the cause that created the newness in their world. Are you with me? But you have to be open to that limitless sea of receptivity. There's no receptivity if you already have a preconceived idea of how things are going to be. There's no way for the universe to enter into that conversation to create your good if your mind is shut down. Say it with me, please. I am doing great work and cannot come down. I stand on the holy ground of love and its infinite possibilities. The work at hand involves a sincere willingness to invite unity to emerge from divisiveness, to maintain a steady connection to divine guidance, and to allow compassion to rule the day. The work at hand involves sincere willingness to unite and be one with all people, regardless of what's going on. There is just as much God in the descent as there in the concurrence. There is as much God in descent as there is in concurrence. There cannot be any more God anywhere else because God is in all things. So having said that, where should we land? Where should we land on that idea? My suggestion is that we land on a unified idea. An idea of unifying and maintaining a steady connection to that divine guidance. But most of all, to be compassionate. Let compassion rule the day. Not anger, not resentment, not fear, not scarcity, not hostility, not jealousy, but let compassion, the most divine quality from one human being to the other, is to be compassionate. It doesn't mean I have to agree with everything. It just means I have to love you. Ooh. Oh God, Thanksgiving's coming up. I just thought of it. I love them, I love them, I love them, I love them. Individuals. Just kidding. The individual must establish the thought, habits, attitudes, and attractors that open the possibility of the heaven experience. The individual must establish the thought, habits, and attitudes. You, me, we have to establish the thought, the habit, and the attitude to attract the heaven experience. You cannot attract the heaven experience when you are in hell. Are you with me? Yes. Once you enter the kingdom of hell, hope you got a fire extinguisher, because you're in for a long one. But if you want to enter the kingdom of heaven, not later but now, you have to make sure that your mind is the habits, the people, you are peopling your ideas, you have the right attitudes going in, you have the right habits to create that, you have the right thoughts that are going to out-picture this in your experience, but you cannot create heaven from the position of hell. Here are some tips. I don't know if they're good or bad or indifferent. I wrote them and I was pretty sober when I did, so I figured they might be pretty good, all right? If you are happy, be happy. Be kind to those who are not yet. And I have to put the word yet in there, because I have to believe that we're going to get wherever we need to go. We may not be there today, but I know we're going to get there. So if you're happy, be supportive, be loving, be compassionate. Don't try to convince the other person that they should be happy too in that moment. It's not going to work. You just be happy and be kind to those who are not yet. Honor your feelings without guilt. Don't feel guilty if you have the feelings. You're a human being. For you to deny that would be to suppress something down again, and trust me, it will come up in another way anyway. So just deal with it. Sometimes you just have to put your ugliness out on the table. You know? You can deal with it when it's out there in front of you. You can't deal with it when you continue to push it down. So don't feel like you need to push it down and feel guilty for doing that. It is what it is. Buddha says, what is, is. So you have to live in that isness. It's your business to live in the isness. You can go there, but you can't stay there. Okay? You can go there in your mind, but you can't stay there. You can go to the place of scarcity in your life, or a place of where a health condition or a financial condition. You can go there, but know that you can't stay there. There's a difference. You don't take up residency there. You don't give it an address. You don't give it a spiritual address in your mind. You certainly don't take deliveries there. Make sense? Feel your pain, but get help to get out. We had a practitioner retreat yesterday, which I thought was so perfectly timed. It's ironic, not even coincidental, the way it's supposed to be. We were supposed to have it 2 or 3 different times, and something came up on my schedule, and we had to continue moving it. And it just so happened to be yesterday. And you know how wonderful that was to have your prayer ministry gather together up in Morongo at Mike Hadley, his place up there in Morongo. They built this beautiful They have their home on this beautiful acreage up in the hills there, and it's got like a retreat center feel to it. We were there all day. And that your prayer ministry got together because the consciousness of what's going on in the people is a consciousness that we had to discuss and process and tune up and be ready for spiritually. And that's exactly what happened. We went out for a spiritual tune-up, and we tuned up. Amen. And we're ready. And so what happens is this, you know what? Get help. If you're dealing with it, we have upped the number of practitioners who will be in the Om room after the service to do healings, 1-minute miracles. In other words, you can't tell them your life story, you got 1 minute. I bet if you narrow it down, it has to do with fear. But anyway, we'll talk about that later. But you got 1 minute, and that includes their prayer. So you basically have about 15 seconds to tell them the issue. Right? So you go over there, and they're going to pray for you. They're going to pray the right thing in so the wrong thing leaves. They're going to pray the right thing in so the wrong thing leaves. They're not going to talk about the wrong thing. They're only going to talk about the right thing. But you have to get help. If you're staying there and you find yourself staying there, get help. That's what your prayer ministry is for. Make an appointment with a practitioner. Come to classes. Tomorrow I'm teaching about the healing power of the Spirit. It's an amazing class I'm teaching tomorrow night. Be there. It'll change your world, but you have to do something. Be aware of not going down the rabbit hole of speculations. No one knows what any future will bring. You don't know. Don't go down the rabbit hole. And this is where I find my challenge to be. And what's my rabbit hole based on? My rabbit hole, and probably yours, is based on what we think has to repeat itself. It's past experiences that we feel may come again in the same form. Whether that's your health or finances, whether it's this election, it doesn't matter what it is. It doesn't matter what it is. What I'm saying is don't go down and futurize your lack. Don't futurize your anger. Don't futurize your disconnections. Don't futurize your scarcity. Don't futurize your dis-ease. Do you want to talk about your dis-ease before it's even there? If you don't do it in your health, why are you doing it with the rest of your life? Keep your schedule and stay off social media. Yeah. Yeah. Don't need to say it anymore. You don't need to be fixed, and you also don't need to fix others. This consciousness that has surfaced here, its time has come to deal with it. You can't run from it. You can't ignore it anymore. You can try to exist. It doesn't exist. But guess what? It's like a broken leg. You cannot run from a broken leg. It's broken. It needs to be healed. We will heal this. Everyone will come together, and we will heal this. But no one needs to be fixed. I don't need to fix you. I'm not gonna fix you. You're not gonna fix me. You have to be willing to fix yourself. The only way you're gonna do that's up here. The only way you're gonna do that's here and here. Say that with me, please. I am doing great work and cannot come down. I stand on the holy ground of love and its infinite possibilities. Be the faith keeper of your consciousness, your family, your work, your community, and our country. There's a tradition, we have a practitioner who sits at the back of the room, and we've talked about this practitioner assignment before, in that comfortable little chair back there by the bathroom, and you're like, who does that? So that is a person who keeps that high watch, right? I'm charging all of us to be the faith keeper, not the fear keepers. Okay? Our position is to be the faith keepers, not the fear keepers. And you keep that with your family and your workplace and keep it in a consciousness for our country and for the world. Faith keeper, not fear mongerers. Faith keeper, not fear keepers. Do you understand the difference now with all of us? We have a divine opportunity to bring ourselves to the center of all good, to deepen our reliance on the supreme love and infinite wisdom that underlie all external events. So there are things that are going on in the outside world that we may not like. They may be very, and that's why I chose to sing In the Silence today. In a world full of chaos and noise, I hear a lot of chaos and noise, right? But in the silence, there's peace. In the silence, there's that center of all good. And that silence is that love and that infinite wisdom. I just have to know that God is in those situations too. There isn't any less God anywhere. You have to understand that. I have to understand that. I need to embody it, even though sometimes I'm very angry that there is no less God over there than there is over here. It's all expressing itself for some higher good. Please join me today and every day to come in having a mind to work. I started out this service by saying, this is the mind you're going to work with. Have a mind to work. You're going to work every day now. And every day, every minute, every hour, every day, every single moment, you're at work. It's called the spiritual business of living. You are in a spiritual business of living. And in that business, there is work. And in that work requires you to be mindful. And I want you to keep an open mind and heart to the great good we are ready to bring into our lives. There has to be a receptivity and an expectancy. And beyond expectancy, there has to be a knowing that good comes from everything. It always has, and it will. Good comes from everything. Not only in our own spiritual community, but in our beloved country and in this precious world that we live in. So every day, pray. Pray. Did you all was there a prayer on your chair today when you came in? Would you pull that out, please? And if someone would give me a copy, I'd really appreciate it. Thank you. Pray. Hear me, please. Hear me, please. Pray. If you've never prayed before, I want you to try this. Really, try this. Every day. A couple times a day. Just every day. This is not like some rocket science. You don't have to create the prayer. It's right here. Ernest Holmes created it for you 70 years ago. And it's just as applicable today as it was then. Let's read it together. Believing in the divine destiny of the United States of America and in the preservation of liberty, security, and self-expression for all, I offer this, my prayer for my country. I know that divine intelligence governs the destiny of the United States of America, directing the thought and the activity of all who guide its affairs. I know that success, prosperity, and happiness are the gifts of freedom and the divine heritage of everyone in this country, that they are now operating in the affairs of every individual in this country. I know that divine guidance enlightens the collective mind of the people of this country, causing it to know that economic security may come to all without the loss of either personal freedom or individual self-expression. I know that no one can believe or be led to believe that personal freedom must be surrendered in order to ensure economic security for all. The all-knowing mind contains the answer to every problem which confronts this country. I know that every leader in this country is now directed by this all-knowing mind and has the knowledge of a complete solution to every problem. Each is impelled to act upon this knowledge to the end that abundance, security, and peace shall come to all. And I know that this spiritual democracy shall endure, guaranteeing to everyone in this country personal liberty, happiness, and self-expression. And so it is. I want to close with a story that Michael Kukuru shared with us yesterday at our retreat. And Michael, I'm going to paraphrase it, so I'm sorry if I'm not perfect on it. There's a story about there was this forest fire. There's this forest, and there's a lake, and then there's something on the other side of the lake. And the forest was on fire. And all the animals were running from the forest, and they were getting to the other side where it was safe. Every animal kept running to the other side. There was a panic because, obviously there was a forest fire. They were afraid for their lives. Except one little hummingbird. One little hummingbird kept going back to the lake, and it would pick up its water, and then it would go over to the fire and drop a drop of water. Right, I know. Aw. But eventually the other animals were like, you're crazy. It's dangerous over there. You're going to get burned. You're going to get hurt. You could die. Why are you doing this? Why are you doing this? And the hummingbird said, I'm doing my part, one drop at a time. That's us. There may be a fire raging out there in your life somewhere, or raging out there in our country somewhere. Wherever it is, one drop at a time. We can deal with this. One thing at a time. Don't futurize it. Don't come down. I'm too busy working to come down. I'm too busy doing my creating good to come down. And hopefully, next week, I can just do a regular lesson. You know? Just one. Just one. Can I do just one? You have all this stuff going on? So very grateful for your attention today. Thank you, everybody. Have a great weekend.